I'm not making it up. And so that means they have only one drone. Drones are all over. Even I own a drone for commercial, non-commercial purposes. It's able to go 4 kilometers around and come back to same, just to look around town. When I'm doing campaign, I put it up there. But we can't find it with our police. We can't find it with our army. So even modern ways of collecting intelligence we don't have. We obviously don't have modern, equipment to fight terrorism. We are rationing guns and bullets. We do not put our soldiers in armored personnel carriers. We are using open roof vans that are prefabricated or fabricated locally, and we put gun trucks. The way we are fighting terrorism is driven by corruption. Boko Haram has become a big business. It has become an industrial complex in Nigeria where people are making money from it. Generals. That's why I said, and I'll repeat it here again, that when I come in next year, I'm going to fire all the serving generals who are involved with the war.
Okay.
Yes, it's time for them to go. This is how it is done in other countries. You ensure that people who are not doing their jobs are relieved of their responsibilities.
Replaced with another.
You replace with. I did a research and found out that there are only 5,000 officer cadres in Nigerian Army of about 300,000 or more. 5,000. So the pressure is much. The reason is that the upper echelon, the generals, don't promote their juniors because they don't want to be edged out. Look at even under the Buhari regime, they have not replaced Army chief of, the chief of staff. All the top echelon of the military have been overdue for replacement for 2 years now. They keep renewing their tenure. It kills the morale of the junior staff. It kills the morale of soldiers fighting out there. The soldiers are bringing out videos showing that they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have equipment. They apparently don't get enough training. But there are big officers at the top who are growing tummies and having a good time. You saw what happened under Jonathan. Some of them were buying houses, mansions. We found money everywhere in their homes, on cooking pots, and the tanks over their roofs. We found them in sewage tanks. It's insane what is going on there. And another thing that must be done is also to equip our police to be able to handle civilian issues, so that our soldiers are not brought into the cities to be accompanying wives of generals to parties or carrying bags. They can dedicate themselves to fighting, to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria, while policing does the civilian work of fighting crime and little insurgencies within the country. But the police is no longer doing that. The police is spending most of their time protecting VIPs. So everything is in shambles when it comes to security. And most importantly, we are not collecting intelligence. We are not out there actively seeking who is Boko Haram, how are they moving. That's why I said these modern tools are important. Where have they been to? Where did they go to? When some of them are arrested, we release them back into society without tracking devices, or monitoring where they've been. We don't have a lot of strategies being used by other countries to fight terrorism. So we're just doing what they call try and error. And it's a shame. And we can't continue like that. Otherwise, we're in big trouble.
Okay. Now, all right. When it comes to the part of education right now, when you look at it for a very long time, even in the budget, the answer is quite obvious. Yes. Education and health. Yeah. The budgets within those areas is kind of you get a higher rates of budgets on other parts, but education and health, which is supposed to be one of the key factors of the country now, what would you do different when it comes to that angle?
We have to be specific, and I've said it before. You're looking at 13 million children out of school. You have to pick a child and decide how much you want to spend on each child. And our decision is we're spending 100,000 starting with every child to send them back to school, pay for lunch, school meals, buy them uniforms, pay their teachers, and build classrooms. Question you ask yourself is how is it that Nigerian rich people get big mansions with all kinds of very elegant tiles, toilets, and cannot build 6 classrooms in the same village. That just put a fan hanging over there, you put 2 toilets, even if it's dugout toilet, that's a school right there. The roofs, put modern roofing there, and sending teachers, 6 teachers, probably putting 12 teachers per school to do the work with the headmaster supervising. You have a school. We've done it before. We are products of public schools, but they intentionally destroyed. It's not that there's not enough money for education. No, don't let them deceive you. Apart from our budgets, we have intervention funding. We have a UBEC funding in this country, for instance, universal basic education funding that is supposed to go to states. But the federal government required that states have paying a counterpart funds into before money can be released to them. And most of the states don't do it because their children are not going to public schools. So at the end of the day, the money is just lying there. I think the last time they said there are over 600 billion naira lying there with the Central Bank of Nigeria from UBEC. Whenever the money then gets out there, the governors also spend them for political events and activities. The money never gets to the kids who need them. So by the time we combine what we budget annually with intervention funds that are out there, both for primary and tertiary institutions, you are close to how much you need to have firm education. Now, we are separating the thieves from our yams, or the goats from our yams, and spending directly in areas where we need supposed to be. And you will have it. But let me also say that we have to make sure that our budgeting is on par with other countries that are making progress in the educational sector. The same thing with health. Okay, before I go to health, we intend to, part of special intervention, put out 200,000 teachers out there. So many of them can be kids that are finishing from NYC, who are just finishing. We rat them back into a 6-month training to become teachers and send them out the same way we send out NYC, to different parts of the country. So a teacher can come from Sokoto to Ondo states and teach, having been trained for 6 months, and he's then integrated into the teaching structure. He becomes a teacher. Teaching becomes very lucrative because you are paying well. You understand? So they will teach and protect schools, because it's not enough to just have teachers and not protect the schools. I wouldn't want to live in a country where anyone can go and kidnap kids. So there has to be special security protection for all our schools as well, everywhere in the country. It's not a lot of money. It's easy. I went to school in 1980. I was one of the people that built my secondary school before I went there. The desks that were there in 1985 are still there. The louver windows are still there. That's what we built. So what you find out that a lot of people actually want to send their children to school, they are willing to make contributions and support the local school system. They just can't find government in their lives. And that's why our education system is terrible. Then you move to secondary school, we need to do the same. Tertiary institutions, we need to invest. TED fund money is there lying around. You don't give the universities the money they need. Politicians are spending, and you need to know what scams have taken place in all these tertiary institutions in the last few years. Funds meant for tertiary. There's education tax in Nigeria as well. Monies are lying everywhere, but they are being stolen also everywhere, because there's no government out there that is monitoring how these monies are delivered to primary constituencies for which they are meant. The moment you have a government that's accountable, that's able to focus and monitor deliveries of money, and money is properly spent, your education system will start to look up, if not. And that is what we need in Nigeria. The same thing goes for health. We want to hire 160,000 health workers across the country, properly trained, so that they can actually start visiting health on people. A lot of people in this country have never had to check their blood pressure before. Most people. So let's even start from there. And then while at it, we attract some of our best doctors are left to come back. And also make Nigeria a hub for medical tourism, where people from Ghana can come to Nigeria and treat themselves. The same way we are going to India today. We lose $2 billion to medical tourism just to India alone.
India alone.
Yes.
Which we know they go to Dubai and other parts of the world.
Dubai is there, America is there. You know, these days there's hardly anybody of means who have their kids in Nigeria. You know, your wife is pregnant, close to you find a visa, go and get another citizenship for me. And these two things: deliver the child safely and correctly, and get the citizenship of another country for the child. So most kids that are born these days of any parent of means, not poor people, they are not Nigerians, including children of senators, governors, even the president. When the daughter was going to deliver the other day, the delivery was not done in Nigeria. So I'm sure Zara's son or daughter is not in Nigeria as we speak. They don't believe in this country anymore. Nobody does.
Okay, yeah, quite interested on that part. Now, let's talk about now poverty.
Yes.
We know this. Right now, we have been known as the hub of poverty.
We're the poverty capital of the world.
In the world. Now, it is a serious problem which has been eaten deep into every single individual. Unless one is not a Nigerian, we'll say we don't feel it. Now, it's a problem, and the election is around the corner. And you know, one thing that is going to be flowing within this election time, it's all about money. Now, how can Nigerians really put that away from the corruption, and how can poverty be tackled on your own now?
You know, it's popular education. People need to be educated, and that's what we're doing. Anytime we go around, we meet these kind of challenges too, where people ask us for money, and we stop and talk to them and say, look, the people who have been giving you money, what do they do for you? And it starts to sink in immediately. Oh, maybe these guys are different. And this is a message that needs to be passed on from everybody. First is to understand that each time a politician is giving you money, it's money they stole from you. You're just getting a fraction of it back from them. And they're using that money to also postpone your entitlements. So when you're getting 5,000 naira, if you're lucky, on election day, that's just divide that by another 4 years and tell me how much you get per day. But here is the money that's your next bridge, your next school, your next hospital. That's what they just gave you. They just paid you in advance. So when you go to a politician and ask them for a bridge or a school, of course they can always point to your stomach and say, you know, we already paid you and you probably have eaten your future. So that education is very important. Secondly, it's also very important that people understand that politicians who are giving you money have no good intentions for you. And as a result, the new currency for politicking must become ideas. Again, these things are not far-fetched. There have been politicians in northern Nigeria that had different ideas, never give a dime to people. And we are taking it to the next level. On our level, we are not giving people money, we're actually asking money to donate and people to donate money to us. And if you follow us on the internet, we've been raising money publicly, transparently through what they call GoFundMe. By yesterday, we've received $100,000 from donors across the world, Nigerians and non-Nigerians in some circumstances, I think, but not a huge percentage of that is from non-Nigerians. Before they come and say that you're collecting money from
other people,
other citizens. And locally, we raised almost 30 million naira. We have a Zenith Bank account we opened, and we call on people. The majority of people donating are people donating 1,000 naira, 500 naira, 900 naira, because they want to own a political process. They've all seen through the veil the lies and deception of politicians who give money. So as we're speaking now, politicians are not debating with ideas. They are not contesting on the basis of ideas. They are looking for money to distribute on election day and hope that the votes come on their side. You know, but in coming into this, we have a revolutionary agenda, and that is to turn things around in the way politicking is done. There's a reason why I have traveled around Nigeria. This is my second time in Sokoto, doing town hall meetings and taking questions and telling people this is how you can farm. This is how your next doctor is coming to you. This is how your child is going to be educated. This is how you get roof over your head. This is how your next salary is going to come if you are a worker. And we must get into the production game. And to address poverty, all of this must come together, because you talk about poverty. It's poverty of cash. It's just one side of poverty, which is driven by other forms of poverty. And the most serious form of poverty in Nigeria is poverty of opportunity.
Poverty of opportunity.
Yes. That a lot of people are denied the opportunity to get past the genetic poverty. So, and when you don't get to go to school when you should, at the formative years, you are denied the opportunity. You have become poor by way of denial of the opportunity to get education. When you are a child and you cannot get immunized because the politicians stole monuments for immunization, you have been denied the opportunity of a healthy future. So already hurdles have been placed in your way of health issues that will not make you get past the poverty of the genetic poverty in the society. So these are opportunities. When you are denied a roof over your head, you have been denied an opportunity to live a livable life. When you are denied potable water, again, you've been denied the opportunity to have the quality of life improved. When you're denied good roads, you have been denied the opportunity of driving and arriving at your destination safely. When you are denied the opportunity of security, your life expectancy has been cut by half.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Now, finally, before we put it down to a rest,
yes,
how would you, from everything you've mentioned, so I know they're all in the angles to shape the country to a better place now, the minds of Nigerians, if it's one of the biggest targets. Yes, we can say, we keep on talking about different things, but if the minds is not being shaped, how would they go? So how would you shape the minds of Nigerians to see the positive things of what they're supposed to be, see where they are, to get their rights achieved by themselves?
It's part of what we're doing here today. Is how do we reach their minds? We reach their minds through the mass media platforms, especially through journalists. We reach people's minds through education. But you see, when they went after education, this is exactly part of what they wanted to achieve ab initio. Is to achieve a society where the mind becomes, susceptible to manipulation. So anybody who is not well educated is the easiest to manipulate. Because then you can put them in this cycle of poverty, ignorance, and disease. PID as they call it globally. The moment people are ignorant, it's very difficult to control their minds. That's why you see, if there's anything that Nigerian politicians or Nigerian elites are smart about, is that they knew very early in the game that to get Nigerians to be on their knees perpetually, you have to destroy the educational system. And they went after it, and they did a good job at it, from kindergarten to primary. So, and you will understand that because no matter how cruel they are or crude they are, they don't joke with their children's education. Go to an Amajiri school in Sokoto, you cannot find the son of a commissioner there at all. Buhari has been accused of everything in terms of having no education background, being someone who is religious, fanatical. You can't find his children in a madrasa school. They're all going to school in London. And London is not Nigeria. A religious place. It's where you find real secular education that can lift people out of poverty. Because they understand the value of education. No matter how bad Atiku is, how corrupt he is, he owns a university. But you know what? He built himself a university at the time the Nigerian university system was dying. In fact, they obtained university licenses for themselves at the time ASU was on strike, himself and Obasanjo. And made sure that the university is the type that the children of poor people cannot attend. Because the feeding of Atiku's university per day is like, if you are there, feeding in a semester is about 600,000 naira. There's no way a poor person can go to their school. You can't afford to go to their school. So after destroying the public education, they then took over, privatized it, commercialized it, and priced it beyond the reach of majority of Nigerians. So now you can't go to their schools. So you remain perpetually ignorant because you didn't get real education or you are denied education completely. So what do you think happens? You are at their mercy and the mercy of their well-educated children. So as Atiku is living, when he was living, his children are positioned in society to take over. The same thing with Obasanjo. In fact, they do such a good job that they can divide their families into both of the political parties. So Obasanjo is supporting Atiku. His son is the chairman of Buhari Support Organization. It's deliberate. They know what they're doing. They don't have such disagreements because at the end of the day, they are all part and parcel of the same political party. There's only one political party. There are no two political parties. There's no PDP, no APC. Just one. They just have one political party that has two heads.
This group and that group.
Yeah, group. That's it. There's nothing ideologically different, and that's why you see them. They have seasonal migration. Wherever it's raining, they are in PDP. Whenever it is dry, they go to APC or whichever party is in power.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sowore, thank you very, very much for being with us. But what would be your last message for Nigerians and Sokoto people?
Sokoto people, this time around is the best and the last, perhaps, opportunity we have to change the direction of governance, to make this country a great country. I believe that you all are feeling the impact of bad governance. You are hungry, you're tired, you're sick, you don't have good roads, you can't send your children to school, you have no electricity, and you all are only good to be thugs and area boys for the rich elite. But think about it, that there's someone out there who is here to help. I can only say that help is on its way. If only we can take the right decision and vote for our party, that's the African Action Congress, of which I'm the presidential candidate. I will give this country the best form of leadership it deserves, the one that you've never seen before. Finally, you get to have a president that believes in you.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us. It's an honor to truly have you here, sir.
Thank you so much. All right, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nigeria, they use computer. The leaders of Nigeria, they use radio where they turn the knob.